Writing a literature review is one of the hardest parts of doing a master's or PhD. We have to go through hundreds of research papers, journal articles, and Google Scholar results just to extract the right information, and it takes days or even weeks, but there's now a faster way to handle all of it with just one AI tool. Many researchers now use ChatGPT for research tasks such as summarizing articles and extracting key insights. However, the challenge with generic AI tools is that they do not always provide verified, citation-backed information. The SciSpace ChatGPT app solves this problem by enabling users to conduct literature reviews, discover research papers, and generate evidence-based insights directly within ChatGPT, while maintaining access to reliable citations and original sources. To access the SciSpace ChatGPT app, first log into your SciSpace account. Then go to your profile in the bottom left corner and click on ChatGPT app, connect the app, and you'll see that SciSpace for ChatGPT supports the core tasks of academic research, discovery, triage, and synthesis. You can use it to search for academic papers and review them in a customizable table that includes metadata, citations, and direct links to the original sources. You can also add structured columns such as abstract, summary, methods, results, conclusions, and more. This makes it much easier to assess the relevance and quality of studies and organize information for your literature review, once the app is connected. Click Start Chat. You can now see that SciSpace is integrated directly with ChatGPT. This means you can use the conversational capabilities of ChatGPT together with SciSpace Academic Research Database. For example, I entered a prompt like, I need to conduct a literature review on the impact of insurance and Medicare payout structures on remote nursing care delivery. Please provide relevant peer-reviewed articles published after 2020 in APA 7 format. The system immediately starts searching for relevant papers. As you can see, it not only provides references and sources but also identifies emerging themes across the literature. For example, it highlights themes such as payment parity policies increase telehealth utilization and lack of permanent reimbursement mechanisms threaten sustainability. In addition, it generates suggested search terms for further literature review, which can help you expand your search and discover additional relevant studies. Now let's look at the sources. If you click View All, you'll see that each study includes a concise summary of the article. You can also customize the table by deleting unnecessary columns and adding new ones. When conducting a literature review, we typically focus on elements such as the methodology, results, limitations, research gaps, and future research directions. Therefore, I will customize the table to include only the columns that are most relevant to my review, such as author, year, abstract, methods, results, limitations, research gap, and future research. This is where the real advantage becomes clear. Instead of reading every article from beginning to end, SciSpace extracts the specific information that researchers usually need. It provides concise yet detailed summaries covering the study background, objectives, methodology, and key findings. For example, one study summary states, the study employed a qualitative research methodology using semi-structured interviews. Interviews were conducted between February and December 2024. Participants were recruited from home health agencies and home health policy organizations across the United States. Notice how it directly identifies the research design, data collection method, study period, and participant group without requiring you to search through the entire article. The same applies to other sections. The limitations are presented clearly and concisely. For example, the study's findings may not be generalizable due to the small sample size of 14 stakeholders. Similarly, the research gaps section identify issues such as, the study does not address the long-term sustainability of telehealth reimbursement policies. Overall, I find this extremely useful because all of the important information is organized in a single table. Researchers can quickly compare studies, identify patterns, extract evidence, and write literature reviews more efficiently. We already have the authors and publication years for citation purposes, and we can easily compare and contrast findings across different studies. Just to verify the accuracy of the results, I also want to confirm that every article provided is a real journal article. To do this, I click on an article, open it in SciSpace, copy the title, and search for it online. Then I compare the author names, publication year, and article details with the information provided by SciSpace. this verification step is important because generic AI tools can sometimes generate inaccurate or even fabricated citations. However, when using the SciSpace ChatGPT app, the references are connected to actual academic sources, allowing you to verify that the articles are real and published in legitimate journals. For researchers conducting literature reviews, this combination of AI assistance and source verification can save a significant amount of time while maintaining academic credibility. Now let me show you with a simple example how you can use this summarized data to write a literature review. I have already uploaded a detailed video explaining how to structure a literature review, but here I will demonstrate the process briefly. First, go to the table and copy the most important information from each study, such as the methodology, results, limitations, and research gaps. Then use the author's last name and publication year to begin writing your literature review. A simple approach is to first explain what the study investigated, then discuss the methodology, and finally present the key findings. Since SciSpace has already extracted the relevant information, you do not need to read the entire article just to identify these sections. You can simply collect the information you need and start building your literature review. This process becomes much faster because the essential information has already been organized for you. However, a literature review is not simply a collection of findings. You also need to compare and contrast studies. For example, after discussing one study, you might write, on the other hand, Spertus et al., 2025, reported different findings. You can then return to the table, select another study, and compare its methodology, results, or conclusions with the previous one. Perhaps one study used qualitative interviews while another used survey data. Maybe one study found positive effects of reimbursement policies while another highlighted implementation challenges. These similarities and differences help build a stronger literature review. It is also important to include study limitations when comparing findings. For example, one study may have used a small sample size, while another may have focused on only one geographic region. Including these limitations demonstrates critical analysis rather than simply summarizing articles. Now, if you want to get more articles on the themes ChatGPT provided earlier, like insurance reimbursement directly influences staffing models and the adoption of telenursing technologies, copy this theme and ask SciSpace to find additional articles specifically related to it. The process remains exactly the same. SciSpace will provide relevant articles, references, sources, summaries, and key findings. You simply extract the information that is relevant to your literature review. It will help you write theme and sub-theme headings and sections in literature review. If you need additional studies, click on View More Papers. This will take you to the SciSpace platform, where you can explore a much larger collection of articles. In many cases, you can find hundreds of related papers connected to your topic, making it easier to build a comprehensive and well-supported literature review. Another useful feature is that SciSpace now allows users to search papers directly from their connected Zotero and Mendeley libraries. This is particularly helpful when working on a literature review because many researchers already have a collection of papers saved in Zotero or Mendeley that they want to include in their analysis. To get started, click on My Library and then select Import from Zotero. If this is your first time using the feature, you will be asked to connect your Zotero account. The process is straightforward, and in the same way, you can also connect your Mendeley account. Once your library is connected, you can use a prompt such as, do a scientific literature review on the impact of insurance and Medicare payout structures on remote nursing care delivery. SciSpace will then begin a comprehensive search across multiple research databases. One thing I really like is that it not only searches external databases but also includes papers from your own Zotero or Mendeley collections. For example, in this search, SciSpace reported, SciSpace Basic Search, 100 results. SciSpace Full Text Search, 100 results. Google Scholar, 20 results. PubMed, 3 results. Zotero Library, 4 results. Total after deduplication and re-ranking, 86 papers. This means the platform is not simply pulling articles from one source. It is combining results from multiple databases, removing duplicate records, and ranking the most relevant studies for your topic. Just like before, all of the papers are displayed in a customizable table. You can add or remove columns depending on your research needs. What makes this feature even more powerful is that SciSpace does not stop at finding papers. It also generates a detailed literature review based on the studies it has identified. Instead of receiving only a list of articles, you get an organized review that includes major themes, subthemes, and evidence from the literature. If we expand these sections, we can see that SciSpace has already synthesized findings from multiple studies and grouped them under common themes. This helps researchers quickly identify patterns, areas of agreement, conflicting findings, and gaps in the literature without manually reading dozens of articles. For students and researchers, this can significantly reduce the time spent searching, organizing, and synthesizing research. Instead of managing multiple databases separately, you can search across SciSpace, Google Scholar, PubMed, and your own Zotero or Mendeley libraries from a single interface while simultaneously generating a structured literature review based on the retrieved evidence.